Welcome back. In this video we take care of the lines to stay on the screen, so we want them to be persistent or at least available for the life cycle of our activity. So in order to get that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a variable here, which I'm going to call paths, mPaths, and it's going to be an array list of custom path. And now I'm making this array list an immutable array list. That is just the case because even though the list itself is immutable, its own list elements can be changed. So we can have as many list elements in there anytime, but we cannot make it a new array list, so to speak. Okay. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to add our draw paths to this path array list. Because as you can see here, we have this mDraw path, which is one custom path. And as I said, I want to keep those paths consistently on the screen, and therefore I need to store them somewhere, and then I can draw them. So the 3 steps are pretty simple actually. We need to go to the point where we are releasing our screen, so action up, and here we just say, okay, add the draw paths to our mPaths. Draw path, and then finally draw it. And where would we draw it? Well, in our onDraw. So here, just before the if statement, I'm going to add a for loop, and this for loop is going to go through all of the paths that we have. So for path in mPaths, I want to do the same thing as we did here, where we set the brush thickness and the paint. But now I don't want to do it depending on the mDraw path, but the path that I just created, which is of type mDraw path anyways, right? But this path in my mPaths, of that I want to have the brush thickness, because it might change, right? It might be different for every single path that we store, because later on we also want to be able to change the brush thickness. And the same goes for the color. So I don't want to use the mDraw path color, but I want to use the path color. So the color of that mDraw path that we're currently looking at. And then of course we need to draw that. So let's draw all of those paths. And in this case, the path's name was path. And that is it. So let's run this again. Let's see if our drawing is going to stay on the screen. So there we are, and as you can see, I can draw stuff now, and even though I release the screen or release the click, the drawing is still there. So you can see now you can have this little drawing app. So this is already a pretty cool starting point. This is already a useful app, so to say. Even though, of course, we cannot change the color, we cannot export it, we cannot change the thickness of the brush. All those kind of things will be added later on. But for now, you can already see that this app is useful to a certain degree. So you can already play around with it on your phone and share it with your friends. And I hope the 40-minute wait to get here was worth it, because from now on it's going to be a lot easier, and we're going to add features just like that. All right, so see you in the next video.